Hey, well, congratulations on the movie. I just watched it. I'll admit I laughed out loud a lot in the office. So missed the comments
Yay.
there. I'm a hard person to get to laugh. Um, so it's fun. Talk a little bit about. Why don't you set up the premise for people? Maybe is it the first LGBTQ horror movie? What is it? What's the pitch?
Well, I guess the pitch is the one line is that it's a gay bachelor party gone awry after a seance is performed in order for us to try to get to the bottom of the spirits that are rumored to be inhabiting the house that we have rented for the weekend in upstate New York. Yes, and I do feel like while it's definitely not the first LGBTQ plus horror movie, I definitely think that it is probably one of the first that is as inclusive and as diverse in its casting and in our mission, which is that we're just a bunch of gay guys in a house. You know, there's no agenda. There's just, it's not like, the story is about our coming of age or coming out or dealing with external societal pressures. Like, it is not a trauma story about gay people, which is what we usually see, is they're having a difficult time, they're struggling, they're trying to figure out who they are, they're suffering from diseases. This is not that. It's just a bunch of gay guys in a house, and it has universal themes that apply to everybody. So I think it is a really good example of how inclusivity does not exclude the audience. I think it just includes more people. And I think it's probably one of the first films that I've ever seen to do that.
Yeah, that's interesting. Talk a little bit about, I mean, I definitely noticed that too. Talk a little bit about what you mean by the inclusivity and the types of gay characters that you're seeing in the film.
Yeah, I feel like when I'm talking about inclusivity, I think a lot of studios and a lot of network executives are still terrified of including LGBTQ plus characters because they feel like it could lead to excluding some of their core audience members. And, as a board member of GLAAD and also a proud member of Summoning Sylvia, I'm going to say that I think the opposite is true. I think that the more inclusive your films get, the more it will reach a broader audience. And I think our film really does that. I've seen a lot of straight guys that have come to this movie and are laughing just as hard as the gay guys standing next to me, and people from many different walks of life, because ultimately our movie, the themes and the messages are about friendship. And everyone has friends. And it doesn't matter if you're a bunch of gay guys, a bunch of straight guys, a bunch of gay girls, a bunch of straight girls. It does not matter. Gender doesn't matter. Sexual identity doesn't matter. You can relate to the relationships that are happening in this film, which I think is what makes it pretty groundbreaking.
Yeah, yeah, and you guys play with that idea a little bit by having the kind of quote
Straight
unquote
guy.
straight
Yeah,
guy.
totally. Totally.
And he's sort of traumatized but sort of comes around. Talk a little bit about how you play with that idea in the film.
So we do have a moment where two characters think that they're not going to be able to, I say, vibe or gel because of the assumptions that both make about each other. And I think that's also very refreshing about the film, that it's not like there is a straight villain in this film. It turns out that there's fault on both sides of this argument. Everyone takes accountability for their own behavior, and that's how we move forward. And I think that's also the message for the society that we need to hear right now, because our country is so deeply divided that people are looking to place blame on the other side of the line. Everyone's saying, "Oh no, it's drag queen's fault," like they're villains right now. And it's like, are they, or are you all just placing your crazy agenda on them? Is there just like a miscommunication that's happening? Because that seems to be what's going on. And if we all take accountability for our own part, maybe we'll be able to have a conversation moving forward. And that's the optimistic view of the future that I'd like to put out there. But yeah, so I do think we play with that fact that there isn't necessarily, there's just a miscommunication. It's just miscommunication that leads to the situations that they're put in, and then there's a resolution, which is really fun.
Yeah, yeah. So talk about that. What was for you? I mean, it seemed like it must have been a very fun movie to make. What for you was like the funnest moment shooting this?
So I think the resolution of the film being a drag number is extremely timely, but also really fun. It was just a really great time on set to get to do that. So I think that was probably my most fun thing that I got to film, was the drag number at the end of the movie. And I just love being in drag. I'm not a professional drag queen, but like, man, I wish I was, you know, I wish I could do the hair and the makeup and the padding, and it's just a lot of work. But I love when other people do it for me and I get to just walk around in heels and kill it. That's really fun.
Did you maybe like a behind the scenes moment working on the film that was, 20 years from now, you'll remember like, oh God, that was the moment working on this that I'm going to remember?
Oh my goodness, definitely trying to teach Travis, our lead, who plays Larry, the 4-part harmony for the a cappella rendition of All Star. That was so funny because he could not get it. The three of us, me, Noah, and Troy, are all Broadway trained actors. We have been in musical theater. We've all performed on Broadway, and Travis has not. And so he was so overwhelmed, and it was so funny because the directors are trying so hard to get him to be like, looking kind of down, finger. It was, I mean, I have some video footage of it because I whipped out my phone to record, and it is my favorite thing. I will look at it over and over and over again. He just couldn't get it, and it was so funny.
Yeah. So what do you hope that the audience walks away from this film with?
I hope they walk away with a sense of a good time. You know, everyone seems to be leaving the theaters and the screenings and their, viewings at home with a big smile on their face. And that's kind of what I hope that this film brings, is just a little joy into the world, because, we need it these days. And I think there's no shortage of good feeling. Like we need this. We need this kind of film. It's very uplifting. So I hope that people leave just with a smile on their face and thinking like, wow, I just left a movie that was entirely LGBTQ plus, directed, written, lead actors, produced, and it spoke to me and I had a great time. And it's not scary, even though it's a little scary because it's a horror movie. A little horror, a tiny bit of horror. I call it a dash of horror, a sprinkling of horror, if you will.
Yeah. So what other projects do you have coming up that you can talk about?
Well, I just, as I mentioned earlier, I just was inducted onto the GLAAD board, so I'll be working with them for the remainder of the year moving forward, and attending the GLAAD Media Awards and doing all sorts of fun things with GLAAD. And also, I have a couple other projects that are in the process of being finalized, which I'm allowed to announce very soon. So please follow me on all my socials at Frankie Grande on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and you'll be able to see all the stuff as soon as I'm allowed to talk about it. I promise I'll share it with y'all first. Thank you so much. Thank you. Great to meet you. I'm glad you enjoyed the film. And laughed out loud in the office, and you don't laugh a lot, which my husband doesn't either, and he laughed out loud, which is great.
I laughed a number of times actually, and I'm really a hard sell, so that's good sign.
Oh, thank you very much. It's really wonderful getting to talk to you, and thank you so much for watching the film.
Thanks for watching the You Interview channel. With over 3,000 original celebrity videos, we have one of the largest collections of celebrity interviews anywhere. So remember to like and comment on our videos and subscribe to the channel. If you want to get more involved, you can become a member of the channel. Membership has its perks. You can see exclusive celebrity videos and get the opportunity to ask our celebrity guests questions. We can't wait to hear from you.